Welcome back to Collectible Strategy. In today's video, I want to talk about a type of card in Riftbound that essentially nobody's talking about, and it's the best of prizing cards. Now, these cards are unique in that there's an extremely limited supply. If it's an Origins Legend, there's only going to be 9 in the world forever. And if it's an Unleashed or Spirit Force Legend, there's probably anywhere from around 10 to 12, depending on how many more regionals that they host for the end of the year. Because I've noticed that the PSA market, the graded slab market, for some of the legends, the signature cards, are reaching potential bubble territory. They are overhyped. There's too much attention on them. Of course, I think they could go up a little bit more, but I think the ratio of their value versus the best of, there's a disconnect, right? We're seeing RE sales, PSA 10, go for $10,000. It recently broke that $10,000 mark. We're seeing Timo sales almost reach 10,000, and we saw some Misfortune Jinx sales reach around 5,000. Now, I think they can still go up a little bit more from here, maybe 15, 20,000, but eventually I think it's going to be a local top, and the prices are going to drop down as people realize that with 20K, it's simply better to get a significantly rarer card. You got to remember that every single card that you're seeing here, except for this one, these are limited in the world, so only 9 to 12 in the world. And if we were to compare that with the population of these PSA 10 cards, I mean, the gem rate for Riftbound cards is generally high. It's higher than 50%. So we're going to potentially see PSA 10 populations of 200, 300 for the RE signatures. Would you rather have a card that there's 300 that exist in the world and 5,000 that exist in its raw form versus a card that only 9 exist in the world? It doesn't even matter if you grade it. It doesn't matter what the grading is because there's only 9 in the world. People probably get it graded just to authenticate it, to move it. These raw itself is more of a flex than the PSA 10 RE. In my opinion, a best of raw is more of a flex than a black label, because black labels, PSA 10s, it's all done on the whim of a person and their mood for the day, right? It's manipulated. It's the human error as compared to a best of card, which can only be earned by being the best of for that champion in a competitive setting. Or these are the real prizes, in my opinion. Now, full disclosure, I do own some of these best ofs. So, I am talking my own book here, but the reason I bought them recently is because I think they're so slept on versus the PSA 10s. I'm not buying any PSA 10 slabs. I'm only buying raw signatures for cards that are being slept on. And I did pick up some of these best of. Now, what I've been doing is I've been doing extensive research on individual champions, the amount of players that made that champion, and how much money that champion is bringing in to Riot to gauge an idea of which of these best ofs are most slept on. Of course, it's obvious champions like Rek'Sai that see almost no play in League of Legends compared to other champions, they're going to do less. They're going to be less popular versus champions like Vi. I mean, sitting at 20K, being the face of Arcane next to her sister Jinx. Only 12 of these will exist in the world, sitting at 20,000. Versus a PSA 10 for a card that's going to have hundreds of copies, that it's not really a flex, right? When you go to a card show, every single table is going to have a PSA 10 RE. It's not a flex. But if you walk in there for best of, it's impossible. It's physically impossible for more than 5 or 6 tables to have a best of Vi, because number one, they simply don't exist. And number two, most of them will be in the hands of extreme collectors who are not trying to flip them. We're talking about whales that have millions and millions of dollars, where this is just part of their personal collection. They're not going to try to flip it in a card show. These are going to be significantly more rare in a card show than any PSA 10 for a signature card. Which is why I'm predicting that best ofs will eventually surpass $50,000 per best of for the somewhat popular champions. Like champions like Rek'Sai, questionable, but Vi, Draven, Ezreal, Aurelia, Azir. Azir just saw 2 sales in the past few days, a $20,000 sale and I believe a $21,000 sale. Those champions I think will do extremely well because they have such a large following. And if even the 0.001% of that following being whales decides that they want to collect these cards, it's going to really pump the price. Just something to think about. Don't be a sheep. Don't just follow the crowd, FOMOing into PSA 10s when you have the real gems, the real treasure right in front of you.